Greetings, folks, and welcome to today's show. Our guest today is Russ Bricken, who you will recall was elected, newly elected state representative, replacing Judd Matheny. And he just completed his first full year in the legislature. And we want to find out how that went, but also we want to try to catch up on the things that are most significant that we have time for at any rate in terms of what the legislature has been able to accomplish. So, Russ, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Tom.
Just completed your freshman year. Give the folks your impression. What happened up there that surprised you, or pleased you, or disappointed you, or?
Well, thank you. It's great to be here always, and again, I'm certainly honored to be the state representative here in Coffee and half of Warren County. Certainly, I was elected last November 6th. The session started January 8th and ended up May 2nd. It was a great experience, my first session up there. Being a freshman, again, it's been a long time since I've been a freshman in anything, so it was.
Had to learn your place all over again.
You have to learn where the bathrooms are, where where your office is. But first of all, I was very impressed with the overall legislative process. There was over 1,500 bills introduced to the House this session. I think we ended up passing 540 bills. So a lot of business is conducted up there during those basically 4 months or 3 months. What I learned up there, and I refer to it as the 5 Ps, and they go by procedures, protocol, pace, pecking order, and politics. And all of them, each one of those is a big topic, but you have to learn the procedures of actually how to draft a bill, introduce a bill. That's part of the procedures. The protocol is the networking with your fellow legislators, when you go to a committee, how to present that bill in such a way that they'll pass it on through the committees. I'm being very brief here. The pace is could make you dizzy because you're assigned committees, so you have to attend your committee meetings, plus go to the other committees to present your bill. Then need to be at your office to talk to the constituents, the citizens that come up there, and the lobbyists. So at the end of the day, most of the time my brain was fairly well just spent. The pecking order, of course, I'm a freshman. You have to learn the leadership. You have to know who gets things done up there. So you learn the pecking order of the House. And then the politics. The politics is the networking. It's not just the Republicans and Democrats. Within the Republican Party, and we have a majority, you have to learn the politics, because Republicans go from ultra-conservative, conservative to moderate. There are probably not very many liberal Republicans, but everyone has their own group, and you have to know who you can work with. So it was quite interesting, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, good. Did you commute every day?
No. That was a deal I worked with my wife. She said I could not run unless I stayed up there because of the risks of being on the road every day. In Nashville, I-24 traffic, I wouldn't wish on anyone. So I stayed in an efficiency apartment. I call it my dorm room. So it's my freshman year. I slept in a twin bed, had a cooktop. It was like going back to college and enjoying a freshman experience again.
And you stayed up there, what, 4
You go up there on Monday morning usually, and you end on Thursday afternoon.
Yeah. Okay.
We generally do not meet on Fridays. You come back to your district on Fridays and try to catch up with your family.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Well, let's first place. Let's take a short commercial break, folks, and we'll come right back.
The glory days. Running to daylight on the gridiron. And chasing a ball with a mind of its own. Cheering the team to victory. And marching to the beat of your own drum. Memories that last a lifetime. But sometimes we're reminded of our glory days in ways we'd rather forget. Get back in the game.
The rehab team at Life Care Center of Tullahoma is ready to help you live and play well.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
Keith Barnett here at Russell Barnett Ford of Winchester. Check out the 2018 Ford Taurus, yours today for $24,995. That's Russell Barnett Ford on 41A in Winchester, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty. And remember, my question is, why buy anywhere else?
We're talking today, folks, with Representative Rush Bricken, who's just finished his freshman year, if you will, in the Tennessee legislature. And we're trying to get a feel for how things went with Rush and also how the legislature managed to perform this season. So, Rush, have you got 2 or 3 items that you would consider very significant coming out of this first session?
I think there's probably more than 2 or 3, Tom. First of all, passing the budget is the first and the big item, the governor's budget, and that's $38.5 billion. Of course, that funds education, TennCare, Department of Transportation, to corrections, and then from there, all the other departments in the state. So that budget passed. Tennessee is fiscally extremely sound, and we did that without any tax increases. In fact, we had tax decreases this year. We reduced taxes close to $50 million eliminated most of the professional privilege tax. We increased the rainy day fund by $220 million, so at the end of next fiscal year, we should have over $1 billion in the rainy day fund, which is the state's reserve fund. So when we have, and we will have another economic downturn, we will be able to, if we need to, draw upon it without having to raise taxes. Now, within the budget itself, the governor's emphasis certainly was on education. So there was, I think, $70-something million for teachers' pay raises. There was fully funding the BEP program, another $40 million for school safety, which would put SROs in every school, and if schools already had them, provide money for other security measures. The governor's vocational education initiative called GIVE was implemented to increase vocational education services for students that would like to go down the vocational skills side of education.
And that was a big emphasis of his, wasn't it?
It certainly was.
Yeah.
Mental health in corrections was funds, I think $15–20 million were set aside there for the Department of Corrections. In the state penitentiaries, all the correction workers got hefty raises, which those folks certainly needed them for that turnover there, to reduce the turnover there. Moving through, so mental health, education. I know I'm forgetting some things right now, Tom, but those. Well,
the safety you mentioned, and I don't think you didn't provide every school with a resource officer like mandated. It's in the form of grants, right? It's money that the state gives to the local district for safety in one form or.
Actually, I think the legislation said it's to provide for a resource officer in every school. So every school should be getting a resource officer. And if they already have resource officers, they won't, because they already have it funded in the budget, they will get that's the equivalent of what that resource officer's funding would be, and they can use it for other security measures. Yeah. But the goal was to provide resource officers for every school.
Okay. The vocational side of that, and it's gotten a lot of attention in the last few years because we've got tons of jobs out there that cannot be filled. That we don't have the people trained and educated to do that. So that is a big emphasis, and it'll have a lot to do with how our employment and economy in general grow over the coming few years. There was also a point made that our graduation rate crept up this year. I think that was statewide. I'm not sure how much, but we had a graduation rate of 89.1% or something.
You're more familiar. Tennessee's education, as far as being judged, has moved up over from Governor Haslam over the last 8 years, and I think it will certainly continue under Governor Lee administration. I mean, Tennessee is no longer in the bottom tier of states. They're moving up, depending on in the 30 ranks, and some people put us in the 20s. Everybody has their own, I guess, barometer on how to determine that ranking, but we are improving. The one thing you heard this year from the teachers and all in the testing is be smart about our testing. Don't the testing that this went through this year, it was paper testing that went through fine as far as I understand, but don't change it. Be sure teachers are doing great jobs, but they want consistency in what they do. And we heard that so much. Is just tell us what we have to do and stick with it, and don't just change it every other year.
Yeah, we've been we've been stirring that pot every year for the last 10 years for sure, and maybe more. And I noticed the other day that they have changed the contractor that we're using for texting. They awarded a new contract.
They will be looking at getting a new one for next year. Yes, they will.
Okay. All right. Well, again, folks, we need to take a short commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Barnett here at Russell Barnett Chevrolet GMC in Winchester. Check out the 2019 Chevrolet Impala, up to 19% off original MSRP. That's Russell Barnett Chevrolet GMC on the bypass in Winchester, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty. And remember, why buy anywhere else?
It's time for every family and business in Tullahoma to go green and recycle. Tullahoma Public Works makes it simple and easy to recycle. Just place your recyclable materials, paper, plastic, aluminum, and cardboard beside your garbage container on the same day your garbage is picked up. Your recycled materials don't have to be in a fancy container. Recycling is not only the right thing to do, it makes sense. Recycling pays. Paying to bury our garbage costs each of us. Please do your part. Let's go green, Tullahoma, and recycle.
When your family suffers the loss of a loved one, the caring and compassionate staff at Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel are standing by to assist you in every way possible. We are proud to support local industry and offer only Batesville caskets. Many funeral homes don't own or operate a crematory. We utilize the only crematory in Coffee County. Your loved one never leaves Coffee County. We can accommodate any need and any budget. Consider our complete pre-need service to remove this burden from your family during their time of grief. Lock in today's low costs and protect from inflation. Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel. Our family caring for your family.
We're talking today, folks, with Representative Rush Bricken, who has just completed his first year in the legislature, representing the 47th District, which is us. And so we're getting a feel for how it went with him personally, and also how the legislature itself is making out. Health care plan. Is that something specific, or is that just a term we're tossing around?
Well, this year, a couple of things that on the healthcare area, Tom, was the state passed what's known as the Katie Beckett waiver, which provided about $28 million along, and then there's federal matching dollars for that. That's going to fund for young children, young adults that are extremely disabled, that need 24/7 around-the-clock care. That it put tremendous hardships on those families with those individuals. Now there will be resources available that they won't have to be institutionalized. They'll be able to be taken care of in home, in their home environment. So that's was a important piece of legislation that I'm glad we passed. We also passed the proposal to go with the Medicaid TennCare block grant proposal, and we'll see where the governor can get with the Department of Health, and see if we can get the Medicaid dollars to further supplement the TennCare program.
We've tried that before, and the federal department didn't care much for the idea, so we're going to hit them again, huh?
This particular bill seems to be structured in such a way that hopefully it will meet the blessing of the federal government, and we can get it done. We'll just have to see.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Anything else in the health care? I'm trying to.
Well, mental health, as I mentioned, that emphasis is certainly there. I think another $15–20 million was devoted for health care, to expand it in not only refurbishing the existing health care facilities in the state, but provide more mental health care dollars to the uses a third party here, like Centerstone and all that, would be able to provide mental health. And additionally to that is health care for the inmates in the county jails and in the state penitentiaries. Mental health is costing us a lot if we don't address it to get those citizens the care they need, hopefully to make them productive back for our society.
Yeah. Well, at least not entirely taking away.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there were couple of interesting firsts for Tennessee that we might touch on, and you mentioned a little earlier one of them. We happen to be the highest state in the country on what they call distracted driving deaths. That is, people who are not paying attention to their driving have an accident and result in being killed, and we're the highest in the country.
Well,
something to be proud of, right?
No, it's not. But we did pass legislation, so effective July 1, you cannot be driving and holding a hands-free device in your hand, either texting or talking to it. It must be fixed to your dashboard or console or connected with Bluetooth. So that legislation was passed similarly in, I'm going to use Georgia, a year ago, and they saw a dramatic decrease in distracted driver's death. I mean, it was on the magnitude of 30 or 40% decline. So it's smart legislation. Technology is there. It's scary when you go up and down the interstate and see what's going on by the driver in the car next to you. So,
who is not watching the road. Well, that's interesting. So you can still talk, but you can't hold the instrument.
That's correct.
You're not allowed. I guess we're trying to say you need both hands for driving.
Not only both hands, but your eyes. I mean,
oh yeah.
To see people texting, looking down while they're driving, and thinking that's safe and what could happen within 3 to 5 seconds, going 60, 70, 80 miles an hour. It's, you know, in a minute, in a second, you can be out of control or in a.
Yeah, and it's amazing how fast that happens, and so well, okay. That legislation, is that alone? Are you expecting that to have a significant impact on distracted driving?
Oh, I certainly think so. It's a $50 fine, the first offense. I think it goes to $100 and $200. So law enforcement's least will have an ability to pull people over when they see it. I hope the state will also do some education, Department of Transportation, or some initiatives on training the public about the law. We'll see, but it's a start.
Okay. And that's encouraging. I suppose you could say that could even be encouraging the rest of us to be a tattletale on somebody. If your neighbor on the road is.
Well, I hope people do either honk or. I know my wife does. I mean, she'll point a finger at someone when she sees them, and you don't want my wife to point a finger at you.
Okay. Well, the other first that we had in the country is one I think we can have a little different attitude and be quite proud of, and that is the fact that our unemployment rate is the lowest in the country. So that speaks well for our economy. And in your mind, are we putting our attention in the right place these days?
I think so, Tom. I mean, Tennessee's economy is good because we're a business-friendly state. We're an extremely low-cost state. Business leaders and companies like to locate here. We have no income tax. We're going to do well as long as we keep that environment here.
If we don't stumble, huh? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's been going on for some time. We've been improving in that area quite a long while. So, well, we're just about to run out of time. I was hoping that we would be able to talk a little about infrastructure, but by the same token, I think the legislature didn't have much time to get to it.
Well, the improved bill a few years ago, hopefully it will provide additional fundings for a lot of great projects, but there's still, we need to be paying attention to our roads and bridges because they're vital to the health of our economy. So Tom, again, thanks for letting me be here.
Well, yeah, we've run out of time. I want to thank you for taking the time to join us, and we'll be back as time goes on. Well, folks, we have run out of time. We want to thank Rush for taking the time to come and be with us, and we want to thank you for inviting us into your parlor, and we'll see you next time.